I wouldn't get court today.
Yeah, we back with another video. Got another video called. We got court cams in that bit. So y'all already know Friday bitch up to get into this shit. But this shit gonna be a long ass video. So I hope y'all got a back with it, but oh God.
Please have mercy on Christine and I, so we still have a chance to grow old together as husband and wife.
We head to Union, South Carolina, the sentencing of Jeremy and Christine Moody, who are all smiles as they stand before the judge.
Oh, them crazy.
No, they are not exchanging vows. They're already married. They're also neo-Nazis who were found guilty of first-degree murder in the killing of Charles Parker and his wife Gretchen.
Oh, they crazy.
The Moody's targeted Parker, who they did not know, after seeing his address in a sex offender state registry. The couple also believed God wanted them to eliminate all sex offenders. Surveillance footage from the Parker home helped police locate the killers, as did Jeremy's tattoos, including skinhead written across his neck, white power atop his head. When the couple were questioned, they didn't deny their guilt. In fact, they both not only confessed, they told authorities they planned to kill more sex offenders. The Moody's pleaded guilty to murder, kidnapping, and burglary, and are in court asking Judge Lee Alford for mercy, as well as the minimum sentence of 30 years in prison.
30 years? Oh, yeah. Y'all be out, y'all.
I think it was by that I don't regret it. I know what I've done is a sin, and I believe that God has forgiven me of it. Please have mercy on Christine and I, so we can still have a chance to grow old together as husband and wife.
Next, it was Christine Moody's chance to plead for forgiveness.
The Bible clearly states, "Thou shalt not kill." I'm sorry I broke that commandment, but I truly believe God has forgiven Jeremy and I. I hope you will too. Your Honor, please see that Jeremy and I are sentenced to the same sentence.
Okay. I had to get all that situated. Hey, we back though.
30 years. Never kissing my husband or feeling his touch again is my very worst nightmare. Please give us a light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you.
After taking in their words of remorse and request to remain together, it's now all up to Judge Alford.
Brutally killed these two people. They had no way to defend themselves or anything else. And I tell you that I believe that if these two were to get out of jail, I would be concerned that they would do exactly the same thing. I don't have any question. I think it is a case that justice demands a life sentence.
After hearing their sentences, the murderous couple share a final kiss before they're separated. But as they exit the court, whatever remorse they tried to convey has quickly disappeared.
That's what child molestation is.
Outside the courthouse, the Moody's continue to express their true feelings.
I think Jeremy and I would have done it again if given the opportunity.
Do you have any regrets?
I have no regrets. Killing that pedophile was the best day of my life.
Hey, wait, you just got life. What the hell you
Jeremy?
finna tell me? No couch.
Jeremy and I have a love that will withstand it.
What about what you said in court about repenting? Is that not true then?
No, it's not true. My lawyer made me say it.
Do you have anything to say to the victim's family?
May they die also.
What you talking about?
Jeremy and Christine Moody were both sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole.
I'm appalled and disgusted
I ain't mad at him.
by what I've done.
We're in Ogden, Utah, for the sentencing of 41-year-old Dia Millerberg. 3 years earlier, Millerberg, her husband, and their 16-year-old babysitter, Alexis Rasmussen, were sharing alcohol, marijuana, and prescription drugs while engaging in sexual activity at the couple's home. The partying ultimately turned deadly after Eric Millerberg injected the 16-year-old with her third dose of heroin and methamphetamine, causing an overdose. Eric Millerberg, a convicted felon,
Damn.
allegedly feared he'd be sent back to prison if they alerted authorities. So the couple drove Rasmussen's body to a remote area and buried her in a shallow grave.
Oh, hell no. Hey, quick.
Alexis Rasmussen remained a missing person for more than a month until a tip from a confidential informant led police to her body and back to the Millerbergs. Following the couple's arrest, Dia made an agreement with the prosecution to testify against her husband in exchange for a reduced sentence. She pled guilty to obstructing justice, unlawfully acquiring prescription drugs, and desecration of a dead body. For 3 years, Millerberg's been allowed to live free out on bail and was able to regain custody of her infant and elementary school-aged child. But now at sentencing, she's facing up to 15 years in prison. Before learning her sentence, Millerberg turns to face the victim's family.
You may address the audience just now.
I just want to say that
Damn,
I'm
for
appalled
real?
and disgusted by what I've done. I've hurt your family in a way I can't fix.
You really can't be mad at her, though.
One day he'll be able to forgive me. And then God
It ain't like she killed her, though.
Please. Your Honor, I'm not gonna make excuses for what I've done. I think it would only
Damn, bro, this shit hurt.
make things worse. I have no way to express the magnitude of grief that I feel for Alexis' family for what I've done. But I take responsibility. And thank you for just letting me say my piece.
It's now up to Judge W. Brett West to make a decision.
They didn't even do shit,
Is,
really.
Mr.
The only thing they really
Millerberg,
did, they should have told that what
sentence
happened.
in this particular situation. I realize that 3 years of allowing you to rebuild and your family and everything
nigga
of that
scared to go
nature,
to
and
jail.
then
You
you come
should
in and
just
say,
call
okay,
police.
Judge, and you're gonna destroy that. But I take these cases as I find them to be. You know, I didn't have any control that it took 3 years to bring this to trial.
Judge West was asked by Millerberg's attorney to consider probation over prison, but he has much to consider.
I have to balance society's the need for punishment, the need for rehabilitation, and I with all due respect, Ms. Millerberg, sometimes it's not about the defendant. But sometimes you do such acts that are such extreme and so heinous and burying this young girl's body, hiding her from the police. You've got to balance that.
Then the rest of the
You have to put it all
time,
in perspective.
cause really she did,
Gonna be the order
they really
of
just
court
buried the body.
serving
That's it, bro.
indeterminate terms of the Utah State Prison of 0
Like
to
what was
5
so
years.
heinous about the clump? That's not even heinous, bro. She was nervous,
Dia
bro. She was
Millerberg
listening to
ultimately
that
served
dumbass
4 years
nigga.
and
That's
2
why y'all
months
female
in
need
state prison.
learn who to
As
trust,
for her
bro. Cause
husband,
these
Eric
niggas not
Millerberg,
right.
he was convicted of child abuse homicide, obstruction of justice, unlawful sexual conduct with a
0 to
minor,
5.
abuse or desecration of a body, and was sentenced to 6 years to life in prison.
These crimes are horrific. It's clear that you did everything you could, you and Larissa, to hide evidence to
What?
protect yourselves.
What?
Next, we go
What?
inside Cuyahoga County Common Police Court in
What?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Hold up,
Judge
what?
Nancy Margaret Russo is about to impose a sentence on Larissa Rodriguez and her boyfriend, Christopher
And
Rodriguez,
you listen to,
for
bro,
something
he would've took
unthinkable.
all that and I
The
would've
death
told
of
her,
her
the only way
5-year-old
you
son,
ain't get no
Jordan.
time.
One night,
If you gotta
Christopher
leave
brought the
him,
boy,
you gotta take
who
all
had
that.
developmental
Let's
needs,
see what they talking
to his
about, though.
mother in a semi-conscious state. She gave him a cold shower and put him to bed. The next day, the child was dead.
Death penalty. Death penalty.
But instead of calling 911, the couple covered the child in blankets
penalty.
and bags full of mothballs and buried him in their own backyard. Nearly 2 months later, after a tip from Christopher Rodriguez's brother, police arrive at the home.
The side door on it is open. Not sure if anyone's
What the
inside.
fuck?
Are your kids here? You mind if you step in? We got a call. Want us to check on the well-being of the 4 to 5-year-old.
All my kids are good.
Okay. What can we see?
Good.
Do you have a child with special needs?
Oh, Jordan? Yes, I do.
How old is Jordan?
Jordan, he is just turned 5.
Where's Jordan at?
He's with his dad. What was the call mainly about?
Just checking the welfare.
She tells police Jordan's in Texas with his father, but she can't provide a phone number to reach them.
So Jordan has family members in Texas?
Yes.
All right. Do you know any numbers or how to get in touch with anybody who actually lives in Texas?
I mean, right now, his phone just got disconnected.
What's his address?
He just had his phone disconnected. He's going to be calling me with...
She's just lied to police. The following day, police return and confirm the tip from Christopher Rodriguez's brother, who said the boy's buried in the backyard. Larissa Rodriguez and her boyfriend are charged.
Y'all are so stupid. Like,
the couple enter into a
listen
plea
to
deal.
this shit.
Murder charges are dropped in exchange for pleading guilty to involuntary manslaughter, felonious assault, 2 counts of child endangerment, and abuse of a corpse. Judge Russo sentences Larissa Rodriguez first.
The court imposes a sentence as follows. Counts 1, 2, and 3 to be served consecutive to each other and concurrent to the sentence imposed in count 5 for a total sentence of 25 years.
Just because you plead guilty?
But before sentencing Christopher Rodriguez, Judge Russo is compelled to make a statement.
And I look at these photographs, and it's very hard. Mr. Rodriguez, this is a horror. I know as a judge I'm not supposed to show emotion. And in 22 years, I never have.
What the fuck?
This is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Whatever this child's life was supposed to be, you make sure it didn't happen. You and Larissa. I didn't even hear you say you were sorry. I will not accept the recommendation for Mr. Rodriguez.
Prosecutors and defense attorneys had agreed to a recommended sentence of 20 to 25 years. But for Judge Russo, the punishment doesn't fit the crime.
These crimes are horrific. You had every opportunity at so many points to make a difference, to get help, to call the police, to ask for help, to try to take him to the hospital. I have to imagine that at some point you got on the internet and said, how do I bury a body? Because this is unbelievable to me. The level of meticulousness that you went through to not be discovered. I honestly don't know how you live with yourself.
But
I don't know how either one of you live with yourself.
And with that, Judge Russo sentences Christopher Rodriguez.
Your sentence as follows: total sentence of 28 years. It's the maximum sentence available.
For real.
Judge Russo goes 3 years beyond the recommended maximum the attorneys had agreed upon. Rodriguez appealed the ruling, but it was upheld. He and Larissa Rodriguez are currently serving their terms in separate locations in the Ohio prison system.
About my child, no count. Hey, that judge did do nothing wrong too.
I am aware that for my crimes, anything short of death is
nothing wrong.
Next, we go to Bakersfield, California, for the sentencing of Jonathan Hearn. The 27-year-old pleaded guilty to manslaughter in the death of Robert Limon. Hearn killed the victim because he was having an affair with Limon's wife, Sabrina, and the two wanted to be together. The Limons were part of a local swingers club, and at first, Limon was okay with the affair. But when Limon later asked his wife to stop seeing Hearn, she and Hearn put a plan into action. Instead of a divorce, Hearn went to Limon's workplace, seen here in this surveillance video, and shot the father of two. Hearn was arrested and charged with murder. But the state also wanted to charge Sabrina. Hearn agreed to testify against her to avoid a possible life sentence.
She was somebody that stood out to me automatically as having a real magnetic personality.
When you used the word affair, you were having sex with Miss Lamont.
Yeah, it was a primarily emotional affair, though we were hooking up from time to time. We talked about things that I would say normal people who are dating or going out probably wouldn't discuss.
Eventually, the couple began discussing ways to eliminate Limon.
It definitely turned from humor into something that actually began to materialize.
After reviewing the evidence, a jury found Limon guilty of murder, conspiracy, and being an accessory. A month later, after Hearn pleaded guilty to manslaughter, he goes before Judge John Brownlee to learn his sentence. But first, the former firefighter has a few things he'd like to say.
To Robert's family and his dear friends, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for stealing your brother, your friend. I'm sorry for the effects of my pride and lust and anger. I'm sorry for my inexcusable involvement with Robert's wife. I'm sorry for the grief that I caused to Robert's mother that broke her heart. To the two children whose dad I took away from them. I'm so sorry. I cannot deserve your forgiveness. I am aware that for my crimes, anything short of death
I
is
wonder
really
why do y'all think
by the
folks
grace
when
of
they
God, I
don't
am what I am.
apologize? I don't want your apology, bro.
It's now up to Judge Brownlee to determine the sentence.
That's what I've been doing my whole time. We walking out that bed.
Maybe you ordered the defendant served 25 years, 4 months in prison.
Like, who wanna hear that? Not me.
3 months later, Sabrina goes before the same judge to learn her sentence.
As to count 1, murder in the first degree, probation will be denied and the defendant will be sent to the Department of Corrections for 25 years to life.
Limon won't be eligible for parole until 2036, when she would be 56. Because of his guilty plea, Hearn is eligible for parole in 2028, when he would be just 38 years old.
I'm sorry for, acting immature on the road. I understand that, being on the road, you could have other people's lives in your hand. And, I should have thought about that.
Defendant Cyrus Matthews was there on misdemeanor charges stemming from a road rage case.
As well as is there like any way that we can reverse this jail time?
Well, you're going to go to jail today. You need to get out to attend the hearing when you consider furloughs. Okay, right now you're going to go to jail.
He didn't get out. He cried.
Hey, call the police. I'm charged with escape.
Almost $1 billion in stimulus checks for criminals. Tell Senator Warnock to stop the reckless spending.
Escape if he doesn't get back in this court.
Matthew's girlfriend follows him out. There seems to be a moment of hesitation here on Matthew's part. We now know it's the bailiff trying to reason with him, explaining that his escape will lead to felony charges. To no avail.
Yeah, that bitch dead.
Now, the Wadsworth police take over.
Man, you already know, man.
He was sentenced to jail and took off.
Matthews is way ahead, reaching speeds of up to 90 miles an hour.
You already in it.
Officer James Walzer's receiving updates.
I saw him turn north onto Lyman from Maple.
When you second guess that bitch, you getting caught. Keep going.
28, he's not. He's running red lights at Hartman. Passing on the right at Williams Reserve. My speed's 90, trying to catch up.
I'm gonna drop my shit.
Wadsworth, I think we're gonna have a code 2.
Oh, he getting through the...
We're gonna have a code 2 at Akron, 76.
Matthews has crashed into a white SUV, seen just off the road there.
Yeah.
Where's he at?
That's Matthew's car there.
All right, we're gonna have multiple vehicles, airbag deployment. Ma'am, are you okay?
You think about if I lose them,
The passengers are a couple and their infant child.
She's okay. All right, we got squads coming.
Thankfully, they have non-life-threatening injuries.
Damn, bro, you fucking
Ashley,
crazy,
help them get
bro.
out. Help them get out. He's up here.
Officer Walzer hustles over towards Matthew's car across the road.
I'm gonna need multiple squads. I need help, sir. Okay.
Damn, bro, this is trick. Can't even drive.
You can hear that Matthews realizes he's made a truly horrible decision.
What was going on? Why were you taking off?
Because they're trying to lock me up for 90 days and I have a whole life.
So what happened?
Damn, bro. You fucked up, yeah. You getting extra charged.
Matthews and his girlfriend are extracted by the Wadsworth Police Department and taken to the hospital. Matthews is charged with aggravated felonious assault for injuring his girlfriend and the occupants of the other vehicle. He's sentenced to 425 days in jail. His girlfriend is not charged.
Thanks for being a fan of Court Cam.
He only
Subscribe
had
to
90
A&E to
days.
never miss a new...
Oh, hell no. Hell no, but that nigga tripping. Only 90 days, you scared him. That's crazy. Hey, I got y'all another video, man. Y'all see we just roll up this one for the next video. Hey, like, sub to the channel and just like that.